I'm not saying that I've gone crazy now that I'm into my 6th day of solo parenting, but if there were a place called Crazy Town, I would have been there, checked into the Holiday Inn Express.
You're not Dr. Stewart.
No. But I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Holy crab apples, I'm catching up on the Fani Willis hearing that occurred yesterday. It feels like a week ago. Yesterday, as of the time of shooting this vlog, which is Tuesday, February 13th, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Better get something for my wife. My wife is due back on Valentine's Day if she decides to return home. So yes, yesterday there was a... What do you want? I need to let the dog out. All right, hold on one second. Yesterday there was a hearing on defendant in the RICO case in Georgia, Michael Roman, but it's his plaintiff case where he's suing Fulton County and the DA Fani Willis for allegedly withholding information. So he's the plaintiff in this particular case. There was a subpoena issued to Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, Bradley, his partner, to a slew of people in order to obtain evidence that Fani Willis had engaged in an improper relationship with someone with whom she had contracted, you know, taking that sweet, sweet Georgia state tax dollars and maybe even federal dollars to pay her boyfriend with whom she has an improper relationship to surreptitiously, indirectly, directly benefit from the monies that she's giving to him to take holidays, cruises, all this other stuff in the context of their, you know, illicit, salacious, extramarital relationship. All right, so Ashley Merchant is Michael Roman's counsel, and she is crushing it, by the way. People, you want to know how you answer a question when a judge asks you a question? This is how you answer the question.
And so if either of these individuals came and denied having any knowledge whatsoever, you have someone who could impeach them having made a prior statement explicitly on that point?
Yes, I do.
All right, what else?
Ashley Merchant served various subpoenas on various witnesses in order to determine that if, I should say if until it's the that Fani Willis had engaged in an improper relationship with Nathan Wade, who she gave a contract to act as external counsel to prosecute Donald Trump and the other various RICO defendants, and that this improper relationship, this improper financial relationship, warrants her getting disqualified from the case. Now, Fani Willis and Fulton County made various motions to quash the various subpoenas. Interestingly enough, and it's the point one of my summary of the hearing that occurred yesterday, Bradley did not make a motion to quash his subpoena. It was the state that made a motion to quash Bradley's subpoena because apparently they don't want Nathan Wayne's alleged purported business partner testifying against him. Sorry, that was presumptuous. They don't want him testifying, period. From ABC News, judge in Trump election case moves forward with misconduct hearing, saying DA's disqualification, quote, possible, end quote, if evidence warrants. The judge seemed inclined to permit testimony from at least some witnesses. Notice the way the partisan propagandist hacks of MSM are both ignoring this story and, when they are forced to cover it, downplaying the living bejesus out of it. And by the way, bejesus, I don't know if it's derived from Jesus. It's going to have a double meaning in the context of this particular case because Fani Willis got up in front of a church, taking the pulpit of God to lie to people, apparently, allegedly. Quote, I think it's clear that the disqualification can occur if evidence is produced demonstrating an actual conflict or the appearance of one, end quote, Judge McAfee said in Monday's hearing. Quote, the state has admitted a relationship existed, and so what remains to be proven is the existence and extent of any financial benefit, again, if there even was one. And so, because I think it's possible that the facts alleged by the defendant could result in disqualification, I think an evidentiary hearing must occur to establish the record on those core allegations, end quote. And so it shall occur the day after tomorrow, as of the time of shooting this vlog. The day after Valentine's Day, and something tells me Big Fani and Wade may not be having an amorous Valentine's Day. They might be prepping for their depositions on Thursday. Michael Roman's attorney, Ashley Merchant, who, if I didn't already say it, is crushing it, continues to crush it. She subpoenaed a bunch of witnesses on the basis that they might be able to impeach other witnesses if they choose to lie. It was magnificent. The Judge McAfee, I'm going to see who appointed him. He's doing an amazing job. He's patient. He's thorough. He's understanding. But above all else, he's right. He didn't grant Ashley Merchant everything she had asked for. He doesn't need to, but he granted what was right. He granted what was relevant. I have another dog coming back in here. Hey, come on, Pudge. Come. While we're at it, let's have a party. Come here. You all want proof of life of Pudge? You want proof of life of Pudge? Here it is, Pudge. Who stepped in your poop this morning? That's right. I do love you. All right, but I watched the full hour and a quarter hearing, and I'm going to give you the highlights with some clips in between so you can appreciate it without having to have actually spent an hour and a quarter watching it. Although I watched it at 1.5 while I was fishing, so it was very pleasant to do. The highlights, or should I say the highlight is that Fani somehow got everyone she worked with to sign NDAs so that they could somehow be precluded from testifying against her or just testifying in general. Let that sink in. Fani Willis goes to all of her employees, all of her staff, everyone that has worked with her, under her, and in Nathan Wade's case, literally, all right, bada bing, bada boom. She goes to them and says, sign NDAs, you cannot talk about this. Now, I'm no 14-year-old kid on TikTok, but as they say in the industry, that is suspicious AF. Some of the other highlights of the hearing, that moment when Ashley Merchant basically said that, yeah, we want the records, the business records, some financial statements from the law firm, the alleged law firm, we'll get to that in a second. We want some of those financial statements because it seems that the law firm might have been paying for Nathan Wade's travel and possibly also Fani Willis's because apparently they billed their trips through the law firm.
There is no good faith basis to believe that they have any information. Again, she's never spoken to anyone, and I didn't hear a representation that anyone could impeach those witnesses with testimony that they said otherwise. So I think those are properly quashed even without further inquiry.
In that last bit, you're referring to the investigators?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, again, I think that's what Ms. Merchant is putting out here, that her star witness, Mr. Bradley, is able to impeach every one of them. Is that what?
I didn't hear the representation that Ms. Merchant said that Mr. Bradley told her that he has personal knowledge that investigators Hill, Green, and Ricks had knowledge of a cohabitation or a personal relationship prior to 2022.
Ms. Merchant?
Maybe I missed it.
It depends on your definition, Judge, of cohabitation, that they stayed at the same house together, slept at the same house. Yes, they have knowledge of that.
And again, knowledge based on statements that they made to someone else who you do have under subpoena and will you would intend to have testified at the hearing.
Yes, and Judge, just for background, when DA Willis took office, Mr. Bradley had a contract. So did Mr. Campbell. They all had contracts. The whole firm, there were 3 partners, Bradley, Wade, Campbell, 3-person firm. They all 3 had contracts to work at the DA's office. So they're all working at the DA's office in some capacity. 2 of them had these taint contracts. So Bradley had 2 contracts actually. He had a first appearance contract. So did Mr. Campbell, and Mr. Bradley and Mr. Campbell also had these taint attorney contracts where they're working directly for the anti-corruption unit. So it's not just this lawyer that he's partners with out in Cobb County. They're all together. They're all intimately
well
together.
I mean, that's good by way of background, but really I just think just to get through over that threshold today, and Ms. Cross, I'll let you have the last word here, but I don't know how many times, or you may have argued at a closing the pattern instruction that a single witness, if believed, can establish a fact. What I'm hearing is again emphasizing the conflict in the evidence, and if the state it sounds quite confident that it's going to have an abundance of evidence to show these things are not true at the hearing, but I don't see how I can make that determination on the front end without live testimony subject to cross-examination and an assessment of demeanor and everything else that goes into those kind of determinations. I don't see a way around that.
Another amazing, I don't know, just say potential conflict of interest, potential issues here is that Nathan Wade's purported law firm partnership, whatever, has been awarded a taint verification contract. Taint, it's not what you might think it means, although given the circumstances, I can't blame anybody's mind for going there. A taint verification. Basically, Nathan Wade's law firm has apparently been awarded a taint contract, which is to verify, look at documents that might be privileged or confidential in the context of prosecutions, such that if they are privileged or confidential, they don't go to the prosecutor. This is not necessarily in the case of Trump per se, although we don't know yet. But this is Fani Willis using Nathan Wade's alleged law firm for taint verification, meaning that Nathan Wade's law firm, apparently under context unknown, is verifying privileged information to determine whether or not it goes to the prosecutor, that being Fani Willis. My goodness, I'm asking myself, how is this not a conflict of interest at large, in general, regardless of whether or not it has anything to do with the Trump case? This is is going to blow open. This is the Pandora's box of corruption, people. And then we get back to a maxim which I say often: you don't have to tell the truth, but you can't lie. And when I say you don't have to tell the truth, basically it means you don't have to say anything, but you can't lie. So if you say something, make sure it's true. And lo and behold, Fani Willis gets in front of a church using the pulpit of God to lie to people using the Lord's name in vain.
Okay, Ms. Merchant, what haven't you gotten that was on Exhibit A, and why is it relevant?
Yes, Judge. So I have not gotten all of the invoices for Mr. Wade. I started asking for those back in September through the open records, and I got some of them piecemeal. I got a couple others that the state attached to their motion. So the open records officer said I had gotten everything, and then the state attached a couple more. So now I have even more, but there's still a couple that are outstanding. So there's several that are outstanding, and we put that in a very detailed pleading and letter to the Fulton County county attorney. We have not received a single invoice for Mr. Bradley. We do not have a current contract for Anna Cross or John Floyd. And the issue with that is that Ms. Willis made statements that she paid them the same amount of money. The contracts we have for Mr. Floyd, that is an incorrect statement.
Lord, you're flawed, hard-headed, and imperfect child. I'm a little confused. I appointed 3 special counsel, as is my right to do. Paid them all the same hourly rate. Paid them all the same hourly rate.
Paid them all the same hourly rate.
They only attacked one.
He was not paid the same amount of money. We do not have either current contracts for either of those folks. We don't have anything about the time off requests. We don't have anything about the reimbursements for Ms. Willis, and we don't have anything in regards to the last bullet point.
What makes you think that travel reimbursements
The
are relevant?
pers-
Because everything seemed to be personal travel.
No, well, Judge, we're not sure that it's all personal travel, and I don't believe that it is. This is all evidence that is related to us showing that Ms. Willis had a personal and a financial interest in this prosecution. Reimbursements for her travel, we have some reimbursements for Mr. Wade's travel. So are those trips connected? Those were the things that we're seeking.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The proverbial poo-poo is about to hit the fanny, and if you are in the UK, that visual is disgusting. If you are in America or Canada, that visual is logical. That's where the poo-poo comes from. It comes from the fanny, people. If the evidentiary hearing on Thursday is going to be broadcast live, I will be live streaming, commentating on it. But at the very least, now you know pretty much what's going on. Holy crab apples, this is going from bad to worse for Fani. And this prosecution, much like the other prosecutions in DC and Florida, are quickly going to hell in a handbasket. Why? Because they were bogus to begin with. To be continued. If they're live streaming this on Thursday, I will be there. If not, I will do the recap. But more important than anything, get out there, exercise, eat healthy, talk to people in real life, make sure everyone around you is doing well. If you like the work that I do, vivabarneslaw.locals.com, the Viva Frei on Twitter, Viva Frei on Rumble. But most importantly, now you know your vlog, peeps. Peace out. Do I touch the camera? Do I touch the camera? Oh yeah. Oh God, I just got the camera all greasy.